Mental health diagnoses are made by professionals to describe patterns of mental differences and to guide treatment. They are based on systems developed in psychiatry. In everyday life, many people use diagnoses as insults. My ex was a psychopath, or my boss is a narcissist. But it's important to tell the difference between a clinical disorder and behavior during conflicts. One-off incidents, like a burst of anger, aren't enough to say someone has a diagnosis. Misusing diagnosis can make things worse and stop solutions from happening. Still, it can be helpful to know the signs so you can better understand and deal with problematic behavior, both in daily life and at work. Antisocial and narcissistic personality disorders, like sociopathy, show up as a lasting pattern of not caring about others, acting on impulse, and breaking rules. It often starts early in youth. Most people show signs before they turn 15. Narcissists show grandiosity in their behavior. This means they act in a very showy or over-the-top way. They need to be admired but don't have empathy. They often feel very entitled and take advantage of others in a big way. Both fall into category B in psychiatry's diagnosis system DSM-5. They show dramatic and impulsive actions that don't fit the situation. Psychopathy isn't the official diagnosis name. Instead, it's called dissocial personality disorder. The difference between antisocial behavior and psychopathy is a lack of emotional response. This means they don't feel emotions the way others do. This shows up as emotional coldness, a superficial charm, and a low level of fear. Many people with antisocial behavior are not psychopaths, but most psychopaths have antisocial behavior. Two main parts of psychopaths are fearless dominance. They can seem effective and/or charming, while the other part is that they are self-centered and impulsive, making their behavior around others reckless and risky. Bipolar disorder is a mood disorder, not a personality disorder. People with bipolar disorder switch between mania and depression. Grandiosity, or a feeling of greatness, can happen during manic phases, but it's not constant, unlike narcissistic behavior, where it is ongoing. Empathy can be cognitive. That means that it is learned logically, or it can be affective. That means felt emotionally. Psychopaths can understand others' feelings with cognitive empathy, but they don't feel them. This allows them to manipulate others very precisely without showing regret. Splitting and gaslighting, the tools of diagnosis. Splitting is black and white thinking. You quickly idealize and then devalue other people. This causes conflicts and leads to unstable relationships. Gaslighting, on the other hand, is another manipulative tool where the victim starts to doubt their own reality. It's used to create control and confusion. The dark triad, the dark traits in organizations. It includes narcissism, psychopathy, and Machiavellianism. These are subclinical, meaning they are so subtle that they are hard to spot. But they can cause big problems in workplaces. Research shows a link to abusive leadership where people take advantage of others, high employee turnover, and a poor mental work environment. However, there can be short-term benefits, such as quick results and charisma linked to their behavior. A couple of examples. Narcissists appear visionary and charismatic, but they can't handle criticism. Psychopathic traits, on the other hand, show up through charm and cool decision-making, but they create a toxic culture. And finally, Machiavellianism is seen in strategic and cynical decisions. They deliver results, but break down trust and teamwork in the organization. Strategies to understand, prevent, and lessen toxic behavior. Tell the difference between conflict and a clinical diagnosis. Diagnoses are a tool for understanding, not a label. Look at behavior, how long it lasts, and its results, not motives. Clinical assessment belongs in healthcare, not in conflicts. Individual actions. Set clear boundaries and follow through consistently. If you are being gaslighted, document everything. Seek support so you don't feel alone and start doubting yourself. Keep communication factual and objective. Avoid showing emotional reactions. Use written communication to support yourself and stay factual even in the long run. Organizational actions. Ethical leadership and transparency, such as clear processes and decision-making paths. Oversight and supervision if you spot risk-taking leaders. Separate their powers so they don't all rest with one leader but are spread among several. Recruitment and development. Be aware of dark traits in key positions. The effects are especially seen in environments with weak leader contact and a lack of follow-up from leaders. So, in short, antisocial narcissistic behavior and psychopathy overlap, but they are not the same. Antisocial personality disorder is seen as a behavior, while psychopathy shows up as an emotional deficit. Narcissism is seen as lasting grandiosity, and finally, bipolar disorder is seen as episodic mood disturbances, not as personality traits. The point is, use trait understanding as an analysis tool, not as a diagnostic tool. Focus on structure, culture, boundaries, and ethical leadership. That way, you protect both people and organizations. Thanks for watching. Share with a friend who's stuck in a conflict.
Husk at like og subscribe.